Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Hi, Taylor.
Hi.
Nice to
meet you.
Nice to
Finally.
meet you, and yeah, see you finally in person after being based in Dominican Republic. Right now, I have the opportunity to be. I'm in New York for 4 years already.
Yep.
So now we have this excellent opportunity to talk and discuss and actually meet in person for the first time. So it's great. So yeah. How's everything? I don't want to repeat the same questions that have been asked before in the previous interviews, but how was your trip in Japan? How was the impressions?
It was great. It's the first time I've been back there since the pandemic, so it was really nice to be back and see friends, some friends I hadn't seen in 10 years, but all my 12K family, and concert was great, food was great, friends. That's what I love to do. Just hang out with people.
Yeah. How much time do you dedicate to the label nowadays? Do you have to sacrifice your own music for your label for 12K?
Yeah, I mean, I've been running it for 25 years, right? So I definitely have a, machine sort of in my head. Things are pretty streamlined, and I don't do that many releases. Even the last few years, maybe a few less, just because production times and shipping's getting real problematic. Shipping a CD, shipping a LP to somebody is getting really expensive. So, it takes a little time, but once it's mostly around the release, getting the art ready, getting everything out, getting it into production. Then it's out, being made, and then once it comes back in, then it gets busy, with promotion and shipping and stuff like that. But I mean, it's fine. It's the mastering, my mastering business is really what takes me away from my own music, because that's every day. Like, it's so busy, so I really have to carve out a day a week or evenings or whatever to work on my projects, and but I manage, it's all fun.
Does an influence on your music taste affect the 12K trajectory nowadays?
Yeah, I think it, always has. It can't not reflect it, because 12K is just me, right? So it's, whatever I'm interested in is somehow gonna seep its way into the kinds of things I want to release, and so. But that being said, I listen to a lot of different kinds of music. I listen to a lot of hip hop and indie rock and stuff, and that's not really making it in to the label, but it's there somewhere, So yeah.
It's called Ghost. Let's talk about the last album with the mutual album with Arovane. What is this album about? Without touching the press release, of course. What are your impressions of your work with Uwe Song?
Yeah, it was great. Like, I had mastered some work from him, and we were talking actually with Micah from Pure Magnetic. It was for his label, and we were sharing pictures or something, and I saw a picture of his studio, and he had this beautiful synthesizer, this called a C15, and I said, that's, I've always been interested in that, and he got me interested enough to actually buy one. And I said, and the conversations were so easy and friendly. We're like, let's do something together, and like, then you have to think what you're going to do, and you have to come up with some sort of framework or guideline. And we said, let's use this synthesizer and base the project around that. At least it'll give us something to start with, something to focus on. And it ended up, there's a lot of different sounds and stuff in there, but that synth was really what got us together, and we became just really good friends. And we have not met yet in person. This has only been in the last year or so, and we just chat, sort of almost every day online and, share stories, and we've become friends, but we have not met yet, but we're both looking forward to it, and certainly we're going to work on another album at some point, hopefully in person, because we both really prefer to work in person, but the, pandemic has kept us apart, but I think, at this point we can probably, do the next one together, which will be more fun and natural, I think.
Let's speak about ambient music in colors. Are you seeing it in a bright or dim way, or it's all like synesthesia for you?
Yeah, like I get a lot of synesthesia when I cook, actually, and with my visual work and graphics, like I'm always equating cooking and food to different musical frequencies and colors. Like, I don't think of music in terms of, music doesn't make me think of food, but food makes me think of different frequencies. And in terms of, ambient music, I think it's all colors, Mine tends to be probably a little, again, I think of frequencies, but, mine tends to be more in the middle, not a whole lot of really low tones, not a whole lot of really high tones, so those colors, blues and greens, muted colors, it's reflected in the artwork for sure. If you just look at 12K's artwork, it's all the same palette, muted grays, muted colors, not a lot of stuff jumping out, because that's what the music isn't, necessarily jumping out at you all the time, sometimes, but, so yeah, I think, muted tones, earthy colors, usually never purples or pinks, very few. There are a couple pinks, reds, not so often. It's always green, blues, and yellows. Yeah.
What is the main inspiration for you at the moment? A city landscape or a quiet suburban area?
Oh, definitely. Definitely not city. My house and studio is in a really quiet, rural town. It's not even suburban. It's lots of trees. I love going to cities. Coming into Manhattan is always exciting. But I, definitely, for a long time now, I preferred, living in nature. I can't really see that changing. I just like the quiet, like natural sounds. And, cities are great, and the bustle's great, and the, excitement's great. But, when it comes down to it, just, I'm not 20 anymore, so I just want to relax a little bit.
Can you mention any names that are really talented at the moment in the ambient and experimental electronic space that are really talented in your opinion?
Yeah, I'm a real big fan of my friend Federico Durand. He's just such a sweet guy, and like everything he does, I just absolutely love. His music is very much like his personality, and it's really honest and really natural. I love everything he does. There's another project called The Humblebee. Do you know The Humblebee? I love all of his music. Who else? A lot lately. Do you know Rafael Toral? Great guy. Really interesting history and arc of his releases over the past years. Oren's Ambarki's latest things. Another great guy. Always. There's so many.
And the last question, do you think that there's a certain dead end in terms of the ambient music? Don't you think that they're repeating themselves in some ways?
I mean, I don't really think about it, I guess. I mean, it's just, I mean, personally, I always like to challenge myself, at least, you know, release by release. I want to approach it differently. And it's what I do, you know, so it's like I don't think about too much like what it's supposed to sound like or what it's, you know, if it's fitting into some, you know, some definition or, you know, it's just, I don't think you can, I think everything has been done and it's always getting recycled and reinterpreted. I don't think you can really intentionally or consciously innovate something new. I mean, I think if you look back at, I mean, maybe you can, but I think so many of the real innovations have been either accidental, you know, some weird piece of equipment that gets used, you know, like the TB303 or something gets used because out of necessity and it turns into a whole, you know, genre or, so, you know, I don't really think about or worry about, you know, what I should be doing or what I should be sounding like or what, you know, I don't know, I'm not bored with it yet, so, you know, that's all I can, you know, I just have to listen to that voice. If it gets boring for me or something, then, you know, I'll probably gradually change, you know, go into something else. I don't think I'm gonna, you know, all of a sudden one day say, oh, done, you know. I think it's a much more natural, you know, flow where inspiration in life is taking you, you know, so, yeah.
Thank you for the conversation.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.